Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillahi wa kafa, wa salamun ala ibadihi alladhina istafa. Khususan ala sayyidil awwalina wal akhirina wa khatamin nabiyyina wal mursalin. Sayyidina wa nabiyyina wa Maulana Mohammed wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa baraka wa sallama tasliman kathiran kathira. Amma ba'du, qala an-nabiy sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Hussain minni wa ana min Hussain. Sadaqa rasuluhu an-nabiy al-kareem wa nahnu ala dhalika lamina shahidina wa shakirina wa alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilman. Ya Rabbi salli wa sallim daiman abadan ala habibika khairil khalqi kullihim. Respected elders, young brothers, friends, and my honorable brothers and sisters. The current month is the Muharram. When Muharram begins, in our mind comes one personality who was martyred, and he is Hussain radiyallahu anhu, grandson of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What we've learned from our elders, our mashayikh, our teachers, how we should remember such personalities when that very date comes in which either they passed away as a natural death or they were martyred. When we look around our own community, when we look around and see the Muslims, we see Muslims remembering such personalities in different ways. We find one group remembering and marking the martyrdom of Hussain radiyallahu ta'ala anhu by wailing, weeping, beating themselves. Their claim is, we are remembering the Mazloom, oppressed Hussain, who was martyred. But the Ahl Sunnah wal Jammah, they told us something else, another way of remembering such high personalities. Shaykh al-Hadith, Maulana Zakaria Nawarallahu Markadahu wa Qudisa Sirruhu, a muhaddis of his time, a saint, a wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of his time, who passed away in Madinatul Munawwara, and whose desire was that I die with Iman in Medina and I be buried in Medina. Eventually Allah Almighty fulfilled his desire. He passed away in Medina, Tul Munawwara. He is buried in Jannatul Baqi. To know who he is, Fazail Amal, written by him, is read in each and every masjid. He taught us how to remember such high profile personalities. When Muharram used to begin, he said to his students, when month of Muharram begins, every day I finish one Quran and I do the Isa al-Iswab of this one Quran to Hussain radiallahu ta'ala anhu and the martyrs of Karbala. How many of us, if I ask myself and you, how many of us when Muharram began sent some swab to Hazrat Hussain radiallahu ta'ala anhu and the Shuhada-i Karbala? We might be thinking, if we send reward of our optional ibadat worship to those who have passed away, we are doing something good to them, we are benefiting them. Remember, no doubt you are benefiting them, you are sending reward to them. But we should have this thing in your mind all times. You are being benefited more than them by sending reward to those who have passed away. There is more benefit for the one who is sending reward to the deceased than the one whom he is sending reward to. How is this? When we send the reward of our ibadat, sadaqah, recitation of Quran to our loved ones who have passed away, they are in alam barzakh and they receive this gift. And our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he has classed this sending of reward to the deceased as a gift for them. When they receive this gift in the form of a sadaqah, recitation of Quran or any other worship, this ibadat which they received, this reward they received, is more beloved to them than the dunya and whatever is in the dunya. But what happens then? They are told so and so has sent you this reward. Then they make a dua for him. Oh Allah, you keep him on guidance. They make a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the alam barzakh. Oh Allah, so and so who has sent me this reward of his optional ibadat worship. Oh Allah, I ask you to keep him steadfast on deen and iman. This is our benefit. We send reward to them, and then in return they make dua for us in the alam barzakh. And their du'as over there are guaranteed, accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he used to say when Muharram begins, just imagine, today we find burden on our shoulder to recite maybe one juz of the Quran. But here we see the personalities reciting one whole Quran in a day. Not just once, every day, continuously reciting the Quran. Muharram begins, sending the reward to Hazrat Hussain radiallahu ta'ala anhu and his companions who were martyred in Iraq. Ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, The people of Iraq, they martyred grandson of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and yet I heard Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying on one occasion that Hassan and Hussain, Huma Raiha Tanaya min dunya, they are both fragrance of this dunya. And our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu ta'ala who mentioned on one occasion, he led us in the Salah Asr, and after Asr he stood up and he delivered a talk, and in the talk he sallallahu alaihi wasallam foretold what was to happen to the day of judgment. And among the things he told us, he predicted to us, one of the was, he said something about Hussain radiallahu ta'ala who well before he was born. Well before he was born. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, everything that is to happen on the day of till the day of Qiyamah is, he has foretold and predicted. He said, Inna bani Adam khulika ala tabaqat shatta. Ibn Adam, son of Adam, the people, the human beings have been created on a different level. Amongst them, some are who are born as believers. They live as believers. They die as believers. There are some who are born as kafir. They live as kafir. They die as kafir. There are some who are born as believers. They live their life as believers. But unfortunately, they die as non-believers. There are some who are born as kafir, non-believers. They live their life as non-believers, and yet they die as believers. We should fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should, after listening to this hadith, we should fear. We should look at our own self and ponder what's going to happen to us. For this very reason, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught us the dua, Rabbana la tuzigh qulubana ba'da idh hadaytana wa hab lana min ladunka rahmah innaka antal wahhab. Oh Allah, after you have given us the hidayat, Allah, do not take us away from, do not drive us away from the hidayat. Oh Allah, keep us on this hidayat. And this is the dua. Whosoever will be punctual of making this dua regularly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through the barakah and the blessing of this dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant him the iman at the time of death, meaning he will take the iman with him, and then he will leave this dunya with iman. He will receive the husn khatamah, meaning he will die with iman. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told us something about Hussain radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Fadl, the wife of Hazrat Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, mother of Hazrat Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu. She came to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam crying, weeping. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, why are you crying?